morning, everybody. Welcome back to Crafting and Crime Daily. I am your host, Rebecca, and this is where I recap live trials. I'm currently covering the trial of two fire medics. Their names are, this is out of Aurora, Colorado. These are members of the Aurora, Colorado Fire Department that are on trial for reckless manslaughter, reckless assault with a deadly weapon, chemical restraint, and assault with bodily injury. One is named Lieutenant Chudiak, and the other one is Officer Cooper. Now, these are not, there was already been two trials of the police officers. Jason Rosenblatt was acquitted. The jury tried his case and he was found not guilty. And Nathan Woodard, he was found not guilty as well and has returned to police work. Now, Randy Rodema, these are the first three officers on the scene that I'm mentioning here. He was found guilty of criminally negligent homicide and has not yet been sentenced. So the jury doesn't know this, though. They're not being told this. So yesterday, or the day before, we're still on Wednesday, after the opening statements, the first person on the stand is the owner of the Shell convenience store. But before we get to that, I gotta show you what I'm working on, right? Because it's crafting as well. So I not diamond painting right now. I'm doing some crochet, and I might get some watercolor out this weekend before I get back into the diamond painting. So here is the turkey gnome. The strings, I still have to sew in some of these strings because I seem to have misplaced my darning needle somewhere amongst all these yarn bobbins that I've got going on here, because I'm already ready to start the next gnome. Look at the colors in the next one. It's going to be this snowman. It's going to be a snow woman, snow girl, snow gal. There we go. And for the snow, this part's the snowman, I'm going to be using this beautiful alpaca yarn that has this gorgeous halo on it. It's going to be really, really pretty. Okay, so that's enough about what I'm doing. And it's very difficult for me to do this and talk to you guys at the same time because I can't chew gum and walk at the same time. So forgive me for just talking. All right. So the first witness is the owner of the Shell convenience store where Elijah McClain goes to make a purchase. It's 10 o'clock at night. He's purchasing a couple of iced teas. You can see he's wearing a jacket, a ski mask. Did he have a hat on too? I don't remember. But anyway, this is August 24th. It's nighttime. It's 70 degrees. Why are you wearing a ski mask and a jacket? So clearly, the customers that are behind him in line kind of think this is sort of weird. And so this woman was put on the stand so they could authenticate the surveillance footage that the police pulled from her convenience store. So they go, after this whole thing is wrapping up and it's being investigated, they go to the convenience store, and they have to do this pretty quickly because this footage gets covered up pretty quickly. It's a DVR that has 16 different cameras on it, and it'll record for 24, it's recording 24/7, but after, I forget what she said, 8 days, it rolls over and starts over again. So if you don't pick up your footage within 8 days, you're not going to get it. But they went there pretty quickly. They pulled the footage, and I want you to see him making these purchases.
In 2019 in Aurora, Colorado, a security camera picks up 23-year-old Elijah McClain at this Shell gas station buying soft drinks and wearing a face mask. His family lawyer told NBC News he was in the habit of wearing this mask. After paying for his items, he turns around and bows to the man behind him in line. His family told NBC News this was his signature gratitude bow.
Now you can see that the woman in line is kind of amused. she's thinking, oh, this is really strange. And the guy looks like he just doesn't know what to make the whole thing. He just wants to make his purchase and get out of there. But I got to tell you, as a juror, and I'm looking at this, I'm going, what? This is odd. Now, they don't, to, as of yet, they have not been told much about Elijah McClain. I don't believe that they've been told that he's autistic. I mean, there was a comment left that yesterday's video that he was autistic. Now, I'm sitting in the place of a juror. I'm covering this trial to let you know what the jury's hearing. They haven't heard that yet. So that may come in through, when they put mom on the stand. And they haven't put her on the stand yet. So then the next person on the stand is the 911 operator. Now, she's not the dispatcher. She's the person that took the phone call. And I want you to hear this phone call.
At 10:30 p.m., a man calls 911.
Let me see if he has a mask on. He looks sketchy. He might be okay. A good person or a bad person.
Yeah.
So, mask on.
Okay. Were any weapons involved or mentioned?
No.
Okay. What color is the mask, or what does it look like?
Black.
Black mask?
He's like a...
Is it like a ski mask, or what type of mask is it?
Yeah, like a ski mask.
Now, that wasn't the entire phone call. The phone call starts out, apparently the caller is calling from a cell phone. I did not know this. I used to be a dispatcher. I know I've done everything. But one of my first major jobs was a police dispatcher. And we didn't do things the way they do them now. Everything's, wow, it's way more advanced. Because this was 100 years ago when I did this. Anyway, when you call on your cell phone, they can pick the GPS, can show them on their computer where you're at. Like a Google map. It'll show you where they're at. And there was a lot of discussion about, well, you're telling me to go here, but I'm not showing that you're there. And so finally they figured out where this is. And she says, okay, I'll send out the officers. And then the other part that you don't hear is her saying, don't approach him, just while sending officers out, just stay away. So, but, he does confirm that it's a long sleeve brown shirt and he's got this dark ski mask on, black ski mask. But he doesn't, she does confirm not seeing any weapons. He's not, no. He's not running into traffic. He's not waving his arms around. He's not committing any crimes, but she's going to send the officers up. Okay. Then the third person on the stand was a fire dispatcher. So once this operator finishes taking the call, and the call is complete, the computer sends that call, she'll prioritize it. And this was a priority 1, which is the lowest priority. So if the computer, it's on the computer to be as a priority 1, and it goes to the dispatcher. In other words, the dispatcher now can see it on her computer, and she can send officers to them. And she sent 3 of them. I don't know if she sent 3 of them, or why does it take 3 officers to go out? I would have thought, in my mind, I'm thinking, you just have to go and drive by and see if he's doing anything. And if they had just driven by him, they would have seen he's just a guy walking down the street with his plastic bag in a ski mask and a jacket in August. Well, anyway, so they stop. So the fire dispatcher, once the police dispatcher sends out these officers and the officers say, hey, we need medical assist, then that police dispatcher sends the call to the fire dispatcher, and the fire dispatcher dispatches the fire department. She she says that they hit the siren or they sound the bell or what you've seen the Chicago fire where they and the guys go sliding down the pole, and anyway, so that's what she did. So 4 officers get into the fire truck and respond to the scene. 2 of those officers are fire medics. One is the driver of the rig, and the other one, I don't know what he's there for, but anyway. So through this witness, they were able to get the computer assisted CAD report, which has all these times on it. Some of those times are automatic, some are not. Some have to be entered by the parties. So the fire dispatcher says, went over these different times. At 22:50, 10:50, the fire department arrives on the scene. Now, this is automatic. There's a GPS in the fire truck, and when it gets in the vicinity of where they're supposed to be going, it logs this time. It doesn't mean that they're parked and they're out of their, they've walked up to the victim. And that's important because remember I said there was a very heavy police presence. So you really had to approach this from the north rather than the south. In other words, they had to kind of figure out where they were going to park. So I don't know that time is entirely accurate as to when they actually got to the side of Elijah McClain. Then at 22:56, the ambulance arrives. 6 minutes later. And you can see at 22:54 and 38 seconds, so about a minute and a half before they actually arrive, you hear the fire medic getting on the radio and saying, "Are you responding emergently?" And you don't hear them respond. Then he's like, just a few seconds after that, he tells them we need soft restraints and ketamine. So these fire medics don't have the tools that they need. They don't have the ketamine. They don't have soft restraints. They don't have a gurney. All that's on the ambulance. Then it isn't for another 9 minutes. So that 9 minutes is the period of time where they're giving the ketamine, they're waiting for it to work, they're loading him onto the gurney, they're taking off the handcuffs. And at 23:04, 11:04 is the computer recorded time that he has no pulse. And that's where CPR starts. So for another 9 minutes, they're in the ambulance, working on him, probably putting on EKGs, oxygen, doing CPR, and they finally go en route to the hospital at 11:13 and 38 seconds and arrive at the hospital about 3 minutes later and turn Elijah over to the hospital care. Those seem like very large gaps of time, but when you're in that situation, that time's flying. Like you'll feel like, yeah, it feels like no time at all. Anyway, I thought those times were pretty important. Then the next person on the stand was a police lieutenant. He's in charge of the electronics at the Aurora Police Department. And he explained to the jury how these body cameras work. At the time, they used a different company that they do now. Now they use the Axon body cameras, which are a much better body camera. But the Axon at the time had to be activated by the police officers. It wasn't Axon back then, it was a different company. That other company, you had to activate the body cam. So now the body cams, they're activated by the dispatcher or someone, but it's not the police officer, because they could also deactivate that camera, or the camera could break, or they could start it and restart it, stop it and restart it. And anyway, and then once this lieutenant explained that once you activate the camera goes back 30 seconds and starts the video. So when you're watching it back, the first 30 seconds of what you're watching has no audio to it. And then once the audio kicks in, you can tell that's when the officer started, the body cam, activated the body cam. He also explained that when their shift is over, they come back to the police department, they take off that body camera, they put it into a charger, and the data, including what he called metadata, which is, who was the officer that is attached to this video, what was the call, what was the time, all that metadata. That's uploaded, as well as the video is uploaded to this website that the officers actually have access to. They can go and view their body cam footage, and it helps them do their reports, but they have no ability to alter any of this footage. But through this witness, they were able to authenticate 18 videos that are going to be shown to this jury. Now, I'm going to show you some of it. And what I'm showing you is the first two officers' body cams. It was Officer Woodard and Officer Rodema. And you'll hear in the video the narrator say that Woodard's camera stopped working or fell to the ground or something, but I believe it was actually Rodema's camera that stopped working mid-struggle. So you hear on Woodard's body cam footage, you can hear him talking, relax, or I'm going to have to change the situation. He's telling him, stop right there, stop tensing up. And you hear Rodema say, sir, can you please cooperate? And this guy is just not being cooperative. So those are the three officers that were actually tried. Rosenblatt and Woodard were found not guilty, and Rodema was found guilty of criminally negligent homicide. I don't know what his sentence was or is. I have not looked that up. Now, here's why there's 18 videos, because you hear them ask for we need more officers here. So Matt Green responds. He's a canine officer, and then you see him in one of these videos, and he's saying, "If you don't stop struggling, I'm gonna go get my dog, and he's gonna bite you." What? Oh my God. Okay, he does it. He leaves the dog in the car. Thank God. I mean, so inappropriate, that comment. Then there was an Officer Darren Dunson, an Officer Jordan Mullins, Officer Alicia Ward. Now, Alicia Ward actually, when she gets on scene, she gets a hold of the complainant. She calls him and she says, why are we here? What did you see this guy doing? And he said, well, he wasn't threatening anybody but he was just acting weird. So now the officers are like, now they're rethinking their life's choices, I'm sure. So also two sergeants responded, Sergeant Rachel Nunez and Sergeant Dale Leonard. And you hear on some of because they showed through this witness, they showed some of the body cam footage. Not like you couldn't see it because this courtroom is set up where it's like you're in a stadium, because the court's controlling the cameras. It's not court TV or law and crime. It's not those people running the cameras. It's the court. And you feel like you're in a stadium looking down on what's happening. And over in that way far corner is a witness, and there's the judge. And obviously you can't see the jury. They're not showing the jury, but it's just like little, and you can't see the screen where they're showing you videos. And it's tough when you're listening to a witness and you cannot assess their credibility. You can't see their body language. That to me is a big part of being a juror, assessing the credibility of what you're hearing. Just making sure it's still on. Okay. So this is why there are 18 videos, because each one of these persons has a body cam. Some of the body cams were turned off, then turned back on again. So there are 18 videos. Now, they weren't all shown. And I don't know that I'll be able to find all 18. I'll try to get what was shown to the jury. Hopefully we can do that. So I do want to show, did I show it to you already? If I haven't, I'm going to show it to you again.
Elijah McLean is walking home from a nearby Shell gas station. He's holding a plastic bag with his purchases. At 10:43 p.m., Aurora police officer Nathan Woodyard spots McLean.
Do me a favor, stop right there. Hey, stop right there. Stop. 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 I have a right to stop you because you're being suspicious.
9 seconds after exiting his vehicle, the officer initiates physical contact.
Stop tensing up, dude.
10:44 p.m. Officer Jason Rosenblatt and Officer Randy Rodema are now also on the scene and surround McLean.
No, I am an introvert. Please respect the boundaries that I am speaking.
Stop tensing up. Stop. Relax.
Stop. I'm going home.
Relax, or I'm going to have to change this situation. Stop.
Leave me alone.
Stop.
Can you please
No,
cooperate?
can you leave me alone?
No, we're gonna
First
talk
off,
to
you guys started to arrest me, and I was stopping my music to listen. Now let go.
The situation escalates when the officers try to move McLean onto the grass. Officer Woodyard's body cam is knocked to the ground.
You guys.
Take my power back. If I intend to be
Officer Rodema says this.
Just grab your gun, dude.
It's unclear from the body cameras whether or not McLean reached for an officer's weapon. All three officers wrestle McLean to the ground.
Give us more. Give us some more units. We're fighting them.
At this moment, one of the officers uses a carotid control hold on McLean, a tactic that involves an officer placing his arm around a subject's neck, applying pressure, and restricting blood to the brain via the carotid arteries. Responding officers later told an Aurora police investigator that McLean briefly went unconscious and the officers released the hold. At 10:46 p.m., just over 2 minutes after the first officer made contact with him, McLean is pinned to the ground and says this.
We had to use carotid.
That's what I was doing. I was just going home. I'm an introvert and I'm different.
Did he come out? He's out. Was he out?
Yeah.
I heard no snoring.
I just
He didn't,
wasn't completely.
he didn't lose consciousness. Yeah.
I'm just different.
He tried to
Just
grab my gun.
different. That's all. That's all I was doing.
It was actually Rosenblatt.
I'm so
He for
sorry.
your gun, dude.
I have no gun.
That's where I tried carotid.
I don't do that stuff. I don't do any
He works
fighting.
in other units that are not here.
Why
They
were
can
you
slow it down a
telling
little
me?
bit.
I don't lose guns. I don't even kill flies. I don't eat meat.
Do we have
I'm not
anything other than him
vegetarian.
being
I
suspicious?
don't touch people.
No, I mean, I tried to stop him to start walking away.
Yeah, Cruiser 26, we need to slow everybody down.
Responding officers later tell an investigator that McLean was actively resisting and fighting the officers' attempts to place him into handcuffs.
What I was trying to do
I tried.
was become better.
We started it because he reached for
It was
Rosie's
like,
gun
let's have fun.
when we had him on the wall.
At 10:49 p.m., McLean throws up a first time.
Stop.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to do that. I think I can't breathe correctly because
Over the next 4 minutes, McLean gets sick a few more times. Officers are also heard multiple times asking him to stop fighting.
Rolling this way, dude? Yeah. Are you able to?
My legs locking up.
There you go. Just like that.
You're good.
Don't
You're
get
good.
up, dude. It's not going to be good for you. I'm telling you right now.
If you keep messing around, I'm bringing my dog out. He's going to dog bite. You understand me?
At 10:54 p.m., McLean is still on the ground, and an officer says this.
So when the ambulance gets here, we're going to go ahead and give him some ketamine. Yeah, sounds good.
Perfect.
Let's give that a couple of minutes and then we'll put him on.
Whatever he's on, he has incredible strength.
Yeah, crazy strength.
I had him in a
10:59 p.m., a fire medic administers 500 milligrams of ketamine to McLean in an attempt to sedate him. 2 to 3 minutes later, he is loaded onto an ambulance. And at 11:07 p.m., just over 20 minutes after the first officer made contact, responding officers are told McLean does not have a pulse.
He just poured.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, sit tight.
McLean was resuscitated at the scene and taken to the hospital where he would be declared brain dead 3 days later. The coroner concluded last November that a combination of physical exertion and a narrow left coronary artery contributed to McLean's death, but could not determine the cause of his death. He added that it could have been either an accidental death caused by a reaction to the ketamine, a natural death, or a death linked to the carotid control hold used by officers. The district attorney later announced he would not charge the officers involved, saying that the evidence does not support a conclusion that McLean's death was the direct result of any particular action or individual. The family told NBC News that they believed an independent investigation should have been conducted initially. Now the governor has appointed a special prosecutor to reopen the investigation.
Okay. Now, the other thing this lieutenant testified to was there's limitations to the body camera, and here's what they are. If you're listening to, let's just say Woodard, for example, you can hear what he's saying quite clearly on his body cam footage. But the other, now, what did I say? 9 officers. There's 9 officers on the scene, 4 fire department people. 2 of them are the medics that are on trial, and 2 paramedics. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 people on this scene. So the 2 people having a discussion over here may not have heard what Woodard said, and Woodard probably didn't hear what they said. So this is a limitation of the body cam. You're getting very clearly what that person is saying, that person whose body cam footage it is. But all the people on the scene may not have heard that. They may not have that information. And then you're not seeing what the officer's seeing because it's mounted right about here, somewhere in here. And so you're just getting that view. Whereas an officer might be looking over here, or he might be looking over here. So you're not seeing what the officer is seeing. Now, if they were a GoPro, it might be different. I don't know. So this is going to be a really, really interesting case as it progresses. Now, I will catch up with them on the weekend. I'll get you all Thursday, everything that happened on Friday, and I will have that for you on Monday's edition of Crafting and Crime Daily. Have a great weekend, everybody. I can't wait to see you on Sunday. I'm going to be doing my coffee and chat at 11 on Sunday. Come there. We'll talk about this case. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. Just, what you purchased during Cyber Week. I made one big purchase. I'll tell you guys about it on Sunday, but I'm so tickled about this purchase. It's not a car. It's transportation, but it's not a car. So I'm excited. All right, guys, have a good weekend. And maybe I'll see you in someone else's live this weekend. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.